Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, blessings just don't seem to reach you? Imagine if a single surah from the Quran could open the doors of rizq, sustenance, opportunities and ease in your life almost instantly. Today, I'm going to reveal something that 99% of Muslims are completely unaware of. This isn't just theory, this is a practice that has transformed lives. By the end of this speech, you will not only know which surah it is, but also how to implement it in your daily life to invite abundant rizq from Allah. Stay till the end, because missing even a single part could mean missing the key to unlocking your blessings. The power of intention in rizq. Before performing any act of worship, your intention matters. Rizq is not just about money. It encompasses health, opportunities, relationships, and peace of mind. Understanding this principle allows you to align your heart with Allah's blessings. The surah we discussed works most effectively when your intention is sincere and free from arrogance or haste. Before anything else, it is important to understand that rizq is not merely about money or material possessions. Too often people think of rizq as the salary we earn, the food we have on our plates, or the possessions we accumulate. But the truth is far deeper and far more beautiful. Rizq encompasses every blessing in our lives, the air we breathe, the health we enjoy, the opportunities that come our way, the knowledge we gain, the relationships we cherish, and even the inner peace we feel in our hearts. Every single thing we have in our lives is, in reality, a form of rizq from Allah. When we approach the idea of rizq with this holistic understanding, we begin to see that it is limitless and its doors are always open for those who seek it sincerely. The foundation of rizq begins with intention. Intention is the secret key to unlocking the full potential of any act of worship, and it is no different when it comes to seeking rizq. When we recite a surah or perform a specific act of devotion, what truly matters is the state of our hearts and the purity of our intentions. If our hearts are clouded by greed, selfishness, or arrogance, the spiritual power of our actions is diminished. But when our intentions are sincere, humble, and focused solely on seeking Allah's pleasure, the impact of even the smallest effort can multiply in unimaginable ways. This is why understanding intention is critical before we even recite the surah that unlocks rizq. Every blessing we have, no matter how small it seems, is a manifestation of Allah's mercy. When we cultivate a mindset of gratitude, even ordinary things begin to feel extraordinary. Imagine a person who wakes up each day complaining about the challenges they face. No matter what surah they recite, no matter how much effort they put into seeking rizq, their heart is closed and the blessings pass them by unnoticed. On the other hand, a person who wakes up with a thankful heart, who recognizes every little favor from Allah, creates a spiritual environment in which rizq flows naturally. Gratitude is the magnet that draws rizq closer. And the surah we are discussing amplifies this effect when paired with a heart that truly appreciates Allah's blessings. It is also crucial to remember that rizq is not always immediate or visible. Sometimes it comes in ways we do not expect. It might appear as a sudden opportunity at work, a new friendship that leads to a positive change, a solution to a persistent problem, or even an inner strength we did not know we possessed. Allah's wisdom is perfect, and He provides for us in the best way possible. When we recite this surah with the right intention, we are not merely asking for material wealth, we are opening the doors to all forms of blessings, physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual. This broad understanding allows us to fully appreciate the richness of Allah's mercy. Moreover, the connection between intention and action is deeply intertwined. Rizq flows not only to those who pray or recite the surah, but to those who also take responsible action. A person cannot sit idly by and expect sustenance to magically appear. The surah acts as a spiritual catalyst, but it requires effort from our side as well. When we combine sincere intention, consistent effort, and reliance on Allah, the results become astonishing. Many people are unaware that the first step in receiving divine rizq is aligning our hearts with the reality that Allah is the provider, that He knows what is best for us, and that He responds to sincere supplications in ways beyond our imagination. One of the most powerful aspects of this keynote is understanding the balance between reliance on Allah, tawakkul, and taking initiative. Reliance does not mean inaction, it means trusting that Allah will guide our efforts to fruitful outcomes. When we recite this surah with the right intention, we are not just asking for rizq, we are consciously submitting ourselves to Allah's wisdom and timing, acknowledging that He knows what is best for us and placing our full trust in Him. This combination of action, intention, and reliance is what distinguishes ordinary efforts from spiritually charged ones that invite immense blessings. Finally, it is essential to internalize that intention is not just a mental act, but a heartfelt state. It is the silent conversation between your soul and Allah. It is the realization that everything we seek, whether tangible or intangible, comes from Him. When you recite this surah with this depth of intention, you are not merely performing a ritual, you are opening your heart, your mind, and your life to the endless possibilities of divine mercy. This mindset transforms ordinary recitation into a powerful tool for unlocking rizq instantly. Every word is infused with purpose, every moment of recitation becomes a conduit for blessings, and every day after becomes a testimony to the power of intention in seeking Allah's provision. In conclusion, understanding the power of intention in rizq is the very first step toward unlocking the full benefits of the surah we are about to explore. Without it, even the most beautiful surah may pass unnoticed. With it, even a few moments of sincere recitation can open doors that we never imagined possible. By aligning our hearts, purifying our intentions, practicing gratitude, taking responsible action, and relying fully on Allah, we position ourselves to receive rizq in ways that transform not just our wealth, but our entire life experience. Introduction to the surah. This surah is short, yet its impact is immense. Despite being concise, it carries deep wisdom and guidance. Most Muslims recite daily surahs mechanically, without realizing the hidden benefits embedded within them. Learning the proper etiquette, timing, and heart-centered recitation of this surah is what unlocks its true potential. Now that we understand the power of intention in seeking rizq, it is time to turn our focus to the surah itself. This surah, though brief in length, carries immense spiritual weight and profound wisdom. Many Muslims recite daily surahs out of habit, often without realizing the hidden treasures within them. They are unaware that certain surahs, when recited with proper understanding and heartfelt devotion, can open doors of sustenance, opportunities, and ease in life almost immediately. The beauty of this particular surah is that it is short enough to be recited easily, but packed with divine blessings that can transform a life if approached with sincerity. This surah is remarkable because it addresses both the material and spiritual dimensions of rizq. While many people focus solely on financial gain, this surah reminds us sustenance is far broader, encompassing health, family, knowledge, guidance, inner peace, and even the ability to make righteous choices. The language of the surah is simple, yet it holds layers of meaning that reveal themselves to those who recite it with reflection. By learning to recite it with understanding, rather than mechanically, one can connect directly with Allah's mercy, invoking His provision in every aspect of life. One of the most important aspects of this surah is that it emphasizes Allah's role as the ultimate provider. Many people mistakenly believe that rizq is solely the result of human effort, the job we work at, the business we run, or the plans we make. While effort is important, the surah reminds us that all provision ultimately comes from Allah. Reciting this surah is a way of acknowledging His absolute control over our lives and submitting to His wisdom. It's a gentle but powerful reminder that while we strive, we must also trust. And that trust opens the channels through which blessings flow. The surah is also unique in how it strengthens the heart of the believer. Reciting it regularly nurtures patience, contentment, and reliance on Allah. These qualities are crucial because they create a spiritual environment where rizq can flourish. Many people struggle to receive blessings not because they are incapable, but because their hearts are restless, impatient, or full of doubt. This surah works to calm the heart, align the soul, and build the inner trust that allows divine provision to reach us in the most perfect and time manner. It is essential to understand that the surah is not just words, it is a means of establishing a connection. Recitation alone is not enough if the heart is absent. When reciting, one should contemplate the meanings, reflect on the attributes of Allah mentioned, and recognize that every phrase is a direct call to the one who sustains the entire universe. This mindfulness transforms a simple act of recitation into a powerful spiritual practice. The surah becomes a channel through which the believer communicates their needs, gratitude, and trust directly to Allah, inviting divine intervention into every area of life. Another remarkable aspect of this surah is its accessibility. Unlike longer chapters that may seem overwhelming or difficult to memorize, this surah is concise and easy to integrate into daily routines. It can be recited at any time of the day, during prayer, after salah, or even while performing daily activities. Its brevity is its strength. It allows for consistency, and consistency is key when it comes to unlocking the full benefits of any spiritual practice. Small, regular acts of devotion often bring more results than sporadic, intense efforts. Finally, understanding the surah requires a shift in mindset. Most people focus on reciting surahs for reward alone, but the true benefit comes when we approach them as a source of guidance, comfort, and empowerment. This surah is designed to open the heart to trust, the mind to clarity, and the life to abundance. When recited with intention, mindfulness, and gratitude, it becomes a transformative tool. It reminds the believer that rizq is abundant and that Allah's mercy is always within reach. The surah is not a magic formula. It is a spiritual practice rooted in faith, understanding, and reliance on Allah. Its power lies in its ability to align human effort with divine will, creating an unstoppable flow of blessings that can touch every aspect of life. In essence, the surah represents a bridge between the believer and Allah's infinite mercy. By reciting it with sincerity, one taps into a source of provision that is limitless. It teaches that rizq is not only about receiving, but also about connecting, trusting, and aligning oneself with the divine plan. It transforms recitation from a mere ritual into a powerful act of devotion that opens doors, eases hardships, and invites blessings that are both immediate and long-lasting. Every believer who applies this surah with full understanding experiences not just material gain, but spiritual elevation, a peaceful heart, and a life increasingly filled with divine favor. Spiritual benefits of reciting the surah. Reciting this surah doesn't only bring material blessings, it purifies the heart, removes spiritual blockages, and strengthens your connection with Allah. People often overlook that rizq flows when the soul is at peace and gratitude becomes a natural habit. The surah activates a chain reaction of divine mercy in your life. Reciting the surah is not just a ritual, it is a gateway to immense spiritual benefits that go far beyond the immediate desire for material rizq. One of the most powerful aspects of this practice is how it transforms the believer internally while simultaneously opening external avenues of sustenance. Many people focus solely on the physical aspect of rizq, money, business opportunities, or wealth, without realizing that the spiritual dimension is what truly amplifies the blessings. This surah works on the heart, the mind, and the soul, creating an environment in which rizq flows naturally. When a person begins to recite this surah regularly, one of the first changes they notice is a shift in their spiritual awareness. The heart becomes more attuned to Allah's presence, and the mind begins to recognize the subtle ways in which blessings are already present in life. Gratitude becomes easier, patience becomes more natural, and reliance on Allah becomes a comforting habit rather than a distant ideal. These inner transformations are critical because they remove blockages that often prevent rizq from manifesting. A restless, anxious, or doubtful heart struggles to receive sustenance, but a heart aligned with Allah's guidance becomes a magnet for blessings. Another profound benefit of this surah is its ability to remove spiritual obstacles. Many people face unseen challenges that hinder the flow of rizq, negative energy, envy, despair, or ungratefulness. The surah acts as a spiritual cleanser, gradually dissolving these barriers and creating a clear path for divine provision. It is important to understand that rizq is not only about effort, but also about spiritual alignment. When the soul is in harmony with Allah's mercy, opportunities that were once hidden or inaccessible begin to appear. This is why reciting the surah with sincerity is far more impactful than mere repetition without contemplation. The surah also strengthens faith and instills hope in the hearts of believers. Life is full of uncertainties, and many people give up when faced with financial challenges, job difficulties, or unexpected hardships. This surah serves as a constant reminder that Allah is aware of every need, every struggle, and every sincere effort. It reassures the believer that sustenance is already allocated, and what is meant for them cannot be taken away by circumstances. This spiritual reassurance is invaluable as it encourages persistence, optimism, and a proactive approach to life. The act of reciting the surah transforms fear and doubt into trust and determination. An essential aspect of the surah's spiritual benefit is that it purifies intentions and elevates the soul. When reciting it, the believer is prompted to reflect on their reliance on Allah, the purpose of their efforts, and the sincerity behind their desires. This reflection brings clarity, allowing the believer to distinguish between what is truly necessary and what is driven by worldly greed. By purifying the heart and intentions, the surah ensures that the rizq that flows is not only abundant but also beneficial and blessed. It is a safeguard against receiving provision that may lead to spiritual harm or dissatisfaction. The surah also facilitates mental clarity and focus. In today's fast-paced life, distractions, worries, and anxieties often cloud judgment and decision-making. By reciting this surah regularly, the mind becomes sharper, priorities become clearer, and decision-making improves. This mental alignment is crucial because rizq is not only about receiving blessings, but also about recognizing and seizing the opportunities that come your way. A distracted or doubtful mind may fail to act on opportunities, but a focused, spiritually aligned mind can identify paths that lead to both material and spiritual growth. Furthermore, the surah acts as a shield against despair and negativity. Life inevitably presents trials and challenges, and sometimes it may seem as though sustenance is withheld. Regular recitation creates resilience, allowing the believer to face hardships with patience and trust. This resilience itself attracts rizq, because Allah favors those who persevere and maintain faith despite difficulties. The surah does not promise an instant solution without effort, but it ensures that the believer remains spiritually strong and ready to receive blessings when they arrive. Ultimately, the surah integrates spiritual elevation with practical life outcomes. The believer experiences a transformation that is both internal and external. Internally, the heart is peaceful, the soul is purified, and reliance on Allah deepens. Externally, opportunities manifest, guidance becomes clear, and provision flows more freely. This dual benefit highlights the true power of the surah. It is not simply a tool for material gain, but a comprehensive practice that nurtures the believer's relationship with Allah while unlocking doors of rizq in all forms. In conclusion, the spiritual benefits of reciting this surah cannot be overstated. It cleanses the heart, strengthens faith, purifies intentions, sharpens the mind, builds resilience, and aligns the believer with Allah's mercy. When these spiritual benefits combine with sincere intention and consistent action, the surah becomes a powerful means of unlocking rizq in ways that are both immediate and enduring. It is a reminder that sustenance is holistic, divine, and limitless for those who seek it with a pure heart, steadfast faith, and unwavering trust in Allah. By embracing the spiritual power of this surah, the believer transforms not only their material circumstances, but their entire life experience, correct method and consistency. It's not enough to just know the surah. The speech explains how and when to recite it, how many times, and the mindset to maintain during recitation. Small consistent steps, rather than sporadic efforts, bring consistent results. This part of the speech will show you the exact actionable steps to integrate it seamlessly into your life. Understanding the correct method and consistency in reciting this surah is crucial for unlocking its full potential. Many people make the mistake of thinking that merely knowing the surah or reciting it occasionally is enough to bring instant rizq. In reality, the benefits of this surah manifest most powerfully when it is recited with focus, mindfulness, and consistency. The act of repetition alone does not carry the same spiritual weight as intentional, heart-centered recitation. Therefore, it is essential to grasp not only the words of the surah, but also the proper way to incorporate it into daily life. Consistency is the foundation upon which the surah's blessings are built. Just as a seed takes time, care, and patience to grow into a strong tree, the spiritual and material benefits of this surah unfold gradually and reliably when practiced regularly. Many Muslims are eager for immediate results, so they recite the surah once or twice and grow discouraged when they do not see instant changes. But true spiritual practice requires persistence. Daily recitation, even if short, produces cumulative effects that the heart and mind respond to naturally. Over time, this consistency strengthens the connection with Allah and opens channels for rizq that may have previously been blocked by spiritual neglect or distraction. Equally important is understanding the mindset during recitation. This is not simply a mechanical act or a routine to check off a spiritual list. The surah should be recited with full attention, awareness of its meaning, and humility before Allah. Each word carries significance, and meditating on its meaning deepens the spiritual impact. When a person recites with sincerity, seeking not only rizq but also closeness to Allah, the recitation transforms into a powerful invocation. The heart becomes receptive, and the soul begins to radiate the energy that attracts blessings. This is why mindfulness, intention, and spiritual focus are just as critical as the act of reciting the surah itself. Timing and frequency also play a significant role in maximizing the surah's benefits. While it can be recited at any time, there are moments when the heart is more receptive and the connection with Allah is naturally stronger. Reciting after obligatory prayers, early in the morning or duri, quiet moments of reflection amplifies the impact. These are times when distractions are minimal, the mind is clear, and the heart is open. Consistently utilizing such moments allows the surah to resonate deeply within the believer, facilitating a profound spiritual alignment that invites rizq in both expected and unexpected ways. Another essential element is the number of recitations and the devotion behind each one. This is not about superstition or counting blindly. It is about creating a rhythm that integrates the surah into life, reinforcing trust in Allah and strengthening faith. The combination of repetition, devotion, and heartfelt intention ensures that each recitation is meaningful and transformative. Over time, this practice cultivates a spiritual discipline that enhances awareness, gratitude, and the ability to recognize and seize opportunities when they arise. It is also important to note that the surah works best when combined with action. Reciting without effort in life is incomplete, and effort without trust is incomplete as well. The surah is a catalyst, but it requires the believer to take responsibility for their actions. By reciting consistently and following through with sincere efforts in work, business, or personal development, the believer aligns their physical actions with spiritual intention. This alignment creates a powerful synergy where divine blessings meet human effort in perfect harmony, producing remarkable outcomes. Furthermore, patience is a key aspect of consistent practice. Results may not always appear immediately in the form we expect. Sometimes the benefits are subtle. Increased mental clarity, better decision-making, opportunities arising in unexpected ways, or a sense of peace that was missing before. These seemingly small changes are indicators that the surah is working. As the believer continues with patience and unwa, Veering faith, these subtle blessings accumulate and lead to significant transformations in both material and spiritual aspects of life. Finally, the correct method of recitation ensures that the surah becomes a part of the believer's spiritual routine. Rather than being a random or occasional practice, it becomes a consistent, intentional act of devotion. This integration into daily life ensures that the surah continuously nourishes the heart, strengthens faith, and opens pathways for rizq. It transforms recitation from a temporary effort into a lifelong habit, providing ongoing spiritual support and access to divine provision. In conclusion, the correct method and consistency in reciting this surah are not merely procedural details, they are the very mechanism through which its blessings manifest. Mindful recitation, regular practice, proper timing, devoted repetition, integration with action, and patience together create a powerful spiritual framework. When these principles are followed, the surah not only brings material sustenance, but also enriches the soul, strengthens the heart, and aligns the believer with Allah's infinite mercy. The consistent, heartfelt recitation becomes a living practice, opening doors of rizq and transforming the believer's life in ways both tangible and profound. Real life examples and stories. Stories from the lives of ordinary people who applied this surah and saw their rizq increase immediately make the message relatable. You will hear examples of doors opening in business, career growth, and unexpected opportunities. This part emphasizes that divine assistance is real and accessible to those who act on knowledge. Stories and real-life examples are among the most powerful ways to understand the transformative potential of this surah. When we hear about ordinary people experiencing extraordinary changes in their lives, it becomes tangible that divine guidance and provision are real and accessible. These stories illustrate how sincere recitation, paired with faith and action, opens doors of rizq that seemed impossible. They remove doubt and ignite hope, showing us that no matter the circumstances, Allah's mercy and provision can reach anyone who turns to Him with sincerity. Many people underestimate the power of practical application. They know about the surah but have never seen it applied in real life, which makes it easy to dismiss its effects as mere theory. However, countless examples from believers' lives reveal that those who engage with this surah regularly witness noticeable changes, sometimes almost instantly. For instance, someone struggling with financial difficulties might find a sudden business opportunity, a new job offer, or an unexpected source of income. Others may experience blessings in relationships, health, or personal growth. These examples highlight that rizq is holistic and not limited to wealth alone. One remarkable aspect of these real-life experiences is how they demonstrate the interplay between spiritual effort and divine response. Those who recite this surah regularly do not rely solely on the words themselves. They combine recitation with diligent effort, positive action, and ethical behavior. The surah acts as a spiritual catalyst, but it is most effective when aligned with sincerity, hard work, and patience. These stories teach us that rizq is not about shortcuts, but about creating a life where human effort meets divine mercy. The results, though sometimes delayed, are always perfect in their timing and scope, reflecting Allah's infinite wisdom. Another important lesson from these stories is the role of intention and humility. Many of the people who experienced life-changing results were not seeking fame or recognition. They were simply aiming to improve their circumstances with a sincere heart. Their recitation of the surah was accompanied by trust in Allah's plan, patience during hardships, and gratitude for even the smallest blessings. This combination of humility and intention magnifies the impact of the surah. It shows that the reward is not just in material gain, but in spiritual growth, peace of mind, and a stronger connection with Allah. Real-life stories also reveal that blessings often appear in unexpected ways. People might pray for financial stability, but receive it through opportunities they had never considered, such as new skills, networking, or advice that leads to long-term success. Others may experience relief from stress, clarity of thought, or improvement in personal relationships. The surah opens doors that the mind cannot always foresee, demonstrating that rizq encompasses more than material wealth. It is the entirety of a well-rounded, blessed life. These examples remind us that Allah's wisdom in providing sustenance is far greater than our limited understanding. Consistency in recitation is another recurring theme in these stories. Those who benefit the most are not the ones who recite the surah sporadically or out of obligation. They are the ones who make it a regular, intentional part of their spiritual routine. This practice is often accompanied by a mindset of reflection, gratitude, and trust. Over time, the cumulative effect becomes profound. The heart grows calm, the mind gains clarity, and opportunities for rizq present themselves more frequently. These stories highlight that small, consistent acts of devotion often produce greater results than sporadic, intense efforts. Furthermore, these examples demonstrate that the surah can transform not only immediate circumstances, but also long-term life trajectories. Someone struggling with a career or education may find a shift that not only resolves the current difficulty, but also sets the stage for years of growth and success. Others may experience inner transformation, developing resilience, patience, and trust in Allah that prepares them to navigate future challenges more effectively. The surah, when applied consistently and sincerely, has a ripple effect, touching multiple areas of life in ways that extend far beyond the initial expectation of rizq. Finally, the power of these real-life examples lies in the hope they inspire. They show that no matter the difficulty or the situation, no one is beyond the reach of Allah's mercy. Even the most ordinary person can experience extraordinary blessings through sincere recitation, aligned intention, and consistent effort. These stories encourage believers not to give up, not to despair, and not to doubt the possibility of positive change. They demonstrate that the surah is not a ritual to be recited passively, but a transformative practice, capable of altering both material and spiritual realities. In conclusion, real-life examples and stories serve as powerful evidence of the surah's effectiveness. They make abstract benefits tangible, illustrating how consistent recitation, combined with sincerity, patience, and action, can bring profound changes in life. From unexpected opportunities to inner peace, from financial stability to personal growth, the surah opens doors in ways that words alone cannot fully describe. By studying these examples and applying the surah with the right intention, believers can witness the true power of divine provision, experiencing a holistic flow of rizq that enriches every aspect of life. Overcoming common misconceptions, many Muslims believe rizq is only about earning more money, or that certain surahs are only symbolic. This speech debunks these myths and teaches that the surah provides holistic blessings. By correcting misconception, ION's listeners will be empowered to maximize the surah's benefits in every aspect of life. Understanding and overcoming common misconceptions about rizq and the surah is crucial for fully benefiting from its blessings. Many Muslims carry the belief that rizq is solely about earning more money, achieving material success, or accumulating possessions. While these aspects are certainly part of rizq, this narrow perspective limits the true potential of what Allah intends for His believers. Rizq is comprehensive. It includes health, relationships, spiritual contentment, guidance, knowledge, opportunities, and inner peace. Limiting rizq to mere material gain reduces the power of the surah and prevents believers from experiencing the fullness of Allah's mercy. Another widespread misconception is that certain surahs are only symbolic or meant for recitation during prayers without expecting tangible benefits. While the Quran is indeed a source of guidance, each surah carries practical and spiritual benefits for those who engage with it sincerely. This particular surah is not merely symbolic. It is a divine tool that has the capacity to unlock doors of sustenance when recited with understanding, intention, and faith. Many people fail to see results not because the surah lacks power, but because they approach it superficially or with incomplete knowledge. Recognizing the surah as a practical instrument of divine mercy is the first step toward experiencing its true impact. Another common error is the assumption that rizq comes only from human effort or social connections. While effort and skill are important, the surah teaches that ultimate provision comes from Allah. Many believers exhaust themselves chasing wealth or opportunities without realizing that true rizq flows when they align their hearts and actions with divine guidance. The surah bridges this gap by reminding us that human effort alone is insufficient without trust in Allah and recitation with understanding. It encourages believers to maintain both reliance on Allah and proactive action, the perfect balance between tawakkul, trust and effort. Some people believe that reciting the surah sporadically is enough to achieve results, or that immediate outcomes will always be visible. This is another misconception. The surah works most effectively when combined with consistency, patience and mindfulness. Divine wisdom often unfolds in ways beyond human understanding. And the blessings of rizq may appear gradually, subtly, or in forms that the believer does not immediately recognize. What seems like a delay is often part of Allah's perfect plan, ensuring that the provision received is truly beneficial and timely. By understanding this, believers can avoid discouragement and maintain sincere recitation, trusting that their efforts are being rewarded in the best way possible. Some also misunderstand the relationship between spiritual practices and material gain, thinking that devotion alone is enough without corresponding effort in life. This misconception leads to passive expectation rather than active engagement. The surah works as a spiritual amplifier, but it requires believers to act responsibly in their personal and professional lives. For instance, reciting the surah while maintaining ethical conduct, striving for improvement, and performing daily duties with sincerity ensures that spiritual efforts translate into tangible outcomes. This harmony between worship and action is a core teaching that many overlook, and it is precisely what enables the surah to unlock rizq holistically. A further misconception is that only certain people, such as scholars or highly pious individuals, can benefit from such surahs. In truth, the Quran is accessible to every believer, regardless of their level of knowledge or social status. The surah's benefits are available to anyone who approaches it with sincerity, humility, and intention. Many ordinary believers who recite this surah regularly experience life-changing results, demonstrating that divine mercy is not limited by human distinctions. Understanding this empowers everyone to take advantage of the surah without hesitation or doubt. Finally, some people overlook the importance of aligning the heart, mind, and actions while reciting the surah. The misconception here is that the words themselves are sufficient without spiritual engagement. In reality, the surah's power is fully activated when the believer recites with awareness, faith, and expectation of Allah's mercy. The combination of intentional recitation, consistent practice, patience, gratitude, and ethical action produces the holistic flow of rizq that this surah is capable of unlocking. By addressing these misconceptions, believers remove barriers that may have been unknowingly limiting the surah's impact, opening the door to profound spiritual and material blessings. In conclusion, understanding and correcting misconceptions about rizq and the surah is essential for maximizing its benefits. Rizq is holistic, divine, and limitless, and the surah is a practical tool for accessing it. By dispelling myths, such as the idea that rizq is only material, that sporadic recitation suffices, or that only certain people can benefit, believers can approach the surah with the right mindset. They can recite it with intention, trust in Allah, consistency, and action, thereby unlocking not only material sustenance, but also spiritual growth, inner peace, and a lift, aligned with divine blessings. The surah becomes a comprehensive guide, a transformative practice, and a means to experience Allah's mercy in every aspect of life.